Hey guys, I've been watching a lot of nineball this last week. I watched the Scottish Open. I watched most of the UK Open. I didn't watch the finals. I don't know if they had it yet. And of course, it's a matchroom event and matchroom rules and matchroom break situation. My five ball is orange, like they're supposed to be. So I guess that makes it not an official matchroom five ball. Anyway, so they use a template. So I have a template down there. They do it for consistency and stuff. They don't seem to care that every now and then a ball will get interfered with by the template after you break. They don't seem to care. Also, the 9 is on the spot, not the 1. So they took the whole rack and moved it forward a little bit. Kind of to, well, definitely to prevent making the wing ball, the 2 or the 4, in one of those corner pockets. The equipment was so consistent, the players were so good, they were doing that basically every time. They're also using a break box. It took a little bit of Googling, but what they do to make a break box is they're drawing a line from this diamond to the spot, or they're imagining a line. They're not actually drawing it. And another line from this diamond to the spot. Where these lines cross the head string, say right there, then they're coming down perpendicular to this rail, and they are drawing this line. They're drawing a similar line over here. Inside this rectangle is where they have to break from. In other words, no breaking from the side. That's basically the whole deal of it. Most players will break from up here on the head string as close to the rack as they can get. In the olden days, you'd have some people that would break from back here, back close to the rail, so they could really brace and I guess maybe feel like could get some more power into the break. But cloth was a lot slower back then, and hell, racks weren't as consistent back then. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to make the 1 in the side. And they're very good at it. Not as good as they used to be at making the wing ball in the corner when the rack was in a normal spot. But now that the rack's moved up, the 1 on the side is a very distinct possibility. And what those guys are doing for the most part, as near as I can tell, is, well, this is what I'm doing to duplicate what I think they're doing. If that's my break box line, I'm not on it. I'm just a little bit here. And what I'm aiming at here is I'm aiming for a full hit on the 6. It's easier for me to see that than to aim for like a 1/3 hit on the 1 ball. It ends up being about the same thing. Obviously, I can't make a full hit on the 6. I'm going to hit the 1. And all I'm trying to do is get just a little bit of bottom and send the cue ball straight into the side rail and then back into whatever's left of the stack. I'm just going to try this. This is working really well for me yesterday. But we'll see now if the camera's running it. I mean, straight at the 6. Okay, so I didn't draw the cue ball straight back and forth, but I drew the cue ball. And this kind of thing here happened a lot. Those guys are very good at making that 1. I would say more often than not, at least the guys that made it to the TV table were making the 1 in the side. But also, more often than not, they weren't getting a shot at the lowest number ball on the table after they made the 1. In this case, it's a 3. I don't have a shot at the 3. This was very, very common. One of the rarest things that I saw was make the 1 and get a shot at the lowest number ball on the table. This situation that I got right now is probably the most common thing that I saw. Scottish Open, UK Open. Is they're getting a situation like this. Now they're going to push or play safe. Sometimes they'll shoot a jump shot, but the pockets on on this table are 4-inch pockets. And so there's not a lot of jump shots that they're going to feel good about. And I don't think jumping at this 3 is one of those shots that we feel good about. I have a really hard time wrapping my brain around this breaking that they're doing, this strategy that they're doing. I spent, my pool life, I guess, talking about a 9-ball break. Everything's on the spot. Or the 9-ball, 1 ball is on the spot. I'm not going to redo this video. You're wrapped in a normal spot, normal place. You hit the 1 ball solid, try to get the cue ball to basically jump back and squat, hope something goes in, and hope because you got the cue ball centrally located that you have a shot at the lowest numbered ball left on the table, which is probably the 1. Once everything got a little bit better and you could make the wing ball, you're still doing the same thing. A lot of times people will be breaking from the side, but they're still going straight at the 1, still trying to get the cue ball, just jump back and stop, and that wing ball goes in. In a case like that, a lot of times the 1 will come over here and bounce up towards this pocket. And if you got the cue ball in the middle of the table, probably going to have a shot at the 1. You're breaking. Originally, you were just breaking trying to control the cue ball and hope. But then you got to the point where you're breaking, the wing ball is going in, but you're still trying to control the cue ball. And you can do that with that full hit on the 1. You can control it if you're any good. Now it's like they've just thrown that all completely out the window. They don't care, and I'm not saying they're wrong. They don't care about controlling the cue ball anymore. I don't want to say they don't care. If they scratch, it's probably going to annoy them. It probably would annoy somebody if they got fits. Made the ball and break, spread them out nice so you don't have a shot. But the most important thing, by far, is that they made a ball and a break. And the only ball that they found, or that I've found, that you can consistently make with the 9 on the spot is the 1 in the side. Of course, I'm pointing at this pocket. If I was breaking from this side, then the 1 would be going over here. You know what? You knew that. I have a hard time wrapping my brain around the fact that they don't care. They don't care about controlling the cue ball anymore. It used to be, when I first started playing 9-ball, I'm trying to control the cue ball and hoping I get lucky and make a ball somewhere. Nowadays, it's like the exact opposite. They're going to make the 1, and they're hoping they get lucky and get a shot at the next ball. I don't have to like it, and frankly, I don't. But I do understand. They're right. They want to make a ball. They want to have the option. If I was one of those guys and I just did this break, I'd be like, okay, what do I do now? Do I try to jump at the 3? Do I do some kind of a push? Do I play some kind of a safety? It's my choice. I have control. If I didn't make a ball on a break, it benefited my opponent. I thought I was going to jump at this. Am I going to jump at this? I'm going to jump at it just so y'all can laugh at me. Yeah. Pretty funny, huh? Anyway, they could, even if everything is racked up here with the 9 on the spot. This is going to be half-assed, but I'm not really going to break them. They could break balls the old way, even if the 9's on the spot. They're perfect. They could still put the cue ball somewhere hit them hard, try to squat the cue ball, hope something goes in. Basically put themselves in a situation that I was in, 30 years ago, before the wing ball started going in all the time. They could do that, but they choose not to. They're willing to risk the cue ball scratching by getting a kiss or something down there. They're willing to risk that, scratching, getting hooked, whatever, for what is not quite guaranteed, but a very high percentage of making the one and keeping control of the tape. I'm absolutely not saying that they're wrong. I'm just saying that it's weird. It's a weird mindset for me because I'm so used to always trying to control that cue ball over the years. And now, the top guys, they were probably used to doing that as well. Control the cue ball. Within Matchroom and some other promoters will come along and say, nope, we're moving their whole rack up, and now their nine's on the spot. Maybe you got to have a break box too. These players still want to make the ball on the break. They don't want to leave it up to chance. So they make the one, which is a fairly high percentage. They're taking a chance on what happens with the cue ball, though. That's the part I can't really wrap my head around. I know it's the right thing to do because the very top players in the world are doing it. So it must be right. I always thought those guys could, when they play all the time, they study all the time, and like, okay, let's say the two's at the back of the rack like right now. Could they not break a lot and figure out if there's a bias and where that two ball ends up? If the two's over here, could they not then do that? And is there a bias in where that two ends up? Now, I tried some experimentation with this, and it doesn't work because you have to make the one, and you have to make the one basically from a certain spot at a certain speed, a certain spin, stuff like that. That's how you make the one. And there's all these kissing and things that happen down here. It basically becomes random. I break these balls right now. Where that two ends up is going to be random. The one ball is going to go on the side. Where the two goes is random. Where the cue ball goes is kind of random, depending on what happens with the kisses and stuff. It's weird. There's my remote. I guess, at least, for now, this is the way of the future. At least, in Matchroom events, people are doing it. It's got to drive them crazy, though, to be turning that cue ball loose on purpose every time they break. It's got to be driving a little part of them crazy. I know it's driving a little part of me crazy just watching them. It's fantastic to be making a one ball on the side every time. Or I bet the top guys are making it 8 out of 10 times. Fantastic to be able to do that. But it's not quite as fantastic if you do that and then you can't see the two. Or if you do that and then you scratch. It takes a little bit off the fantasticness of having just made the one ball. Thanks, guys.